Hello, I'm Dr. Peter Leo. I'm a dermatologist in Chicago, Illinois. Eczema is a very interesting disease because it probably is not one simple thing. It really refers to a group of symptoms. And generally what we think about it is it's an itchy, red, and often scaly, but sometimes even oozy rash. It affects lots of people, millions of people in fact. And some of the studies show that it could affect more than 10% and maybe as high as 20% of children in developed areas and maybe as high as 10% of adults. The problem with it is, beyond this itch and discomfort, is that it is chronic. It goes on and on and on and drives people, their family, their friends, and society crazy. Some of the key signs of eczema are the itchy, red, and recurrent rash. It tends to have a few favorite places, like the folds in particular. Eczema is confusing to us because it doesn't seem to have one or even a few simple causes. At the ultimate root point, it really seems that it is a sensitivity and maybe an impaired skin barrier for almost all the patients. So I like to call it leaky skin. We know that once you have this impaired skin barrier and sensitivity, lots of things can trigger it. It could be changes in the weather, it could be emotional stress, it could be a certain kind of fabric or a chemical you're exposed to. All of these things can contribute to causing a flare-up. Eczema can appear at any age, even newborn babies in the first few weeks of life I've seen it develop, but it also can even develop in adulthood. The Restoraderm line is really exciting. It was designed with eczema and sensitive skin in mind, and it actually has been tested in those patients. And not only does it have a long legacy of the products that came before it that inspired its development, but it really uses a lot of state-of-the-art modern technology advances to make it ideally suited for these skin types. When we are trying to find products that are good for patients with sensitive skin, and in particular with eczema, we're really looking for things that are optimized for that kind of skin. We don't want extra fragrance, we don't want a whole lot of preservatives, and we really want things that are formulated to be soothing, restoring, and protective for that skin. So the Restoraderm line really puts these things front and center, and it actually has been studied in patients that are applicable. Eczema can affect people year-round, and it's true that sometimes people like things that are heavier and more protective and occlusive during the winter months, and sometimes they prefer something a little bit lighter, more lotion or cream-like in the hot summer months. For many of my patients, sweating and heat can feel very uncomfortable and can cause itching, so sometimes a heavy occlusive ointment is not optimal year-round. Sensitive skin is a little bit tricky to diagnose. We don't have any gold standard test for it, and many patients report having it themselves. The truth is there probably are different types of sensitive skin. Some people find that they flush and blush really easily. Others have more skin sensitivity, stinging and burning. Others have truly dry skin. I think all of these can be considered sensitive skin, and generally the best way people know is that when they put on certain products, they find them uncomfortable or irritating. If you have dry and sensitive skin, it's really important not just to think about a moisturizer, but also to think about a cleanser, because a lot of soaps in particular are incredibly drying. They're very alkaline in terms of their pH, and they can make things worse. So what we're looking for is a super gentle cleanser that ideally does more help than harm. It can actually be moisturizing while you wash with it, and then a gentle moisturizer that again is going to help restore that skin barrier and protect your skin. For those patients that have a little bit more oily skin, that can be a little challenging because sometimes very, very rich moisturizers will actually not feel so good. And for those patients, they might want something that's a little bit lighter weight and something that ideally even has a bit of a matte finish. So there are some products that are a little bit more designed for the face, in particular those with oily skin. But for cleansers, many times people will use something harsh to try to remove that oil, and that can actually backfire. I tend to recommend similarly gentle cleansers no matter what your skin type, because we don't want the skin to have to try to compensate for that stripping of the natural oils. One of the nice things about the Cetaphil line is that Every single aspect of it is designed with, and with this group in mind in particular, and ideally tested in this group as well. Many of the products have been tested not only in more formal clinical settings, but time tested. For years and years, we've had so much experience with the Cetaphil brand that for many dermatologists and clinicians, it's sort of a shorthand. I want you to pick something that will be gentle and supportive for your skin. How about Cetaphil? There are many brands that claim to be designed for sensitive skin, but not all of them are held to the same high standard as Cetaphil. When we want people to use a cleanser, and almost everybody does, many people bathe every day, we want to be ultra careful not to strip away the natural oils, not to damage the skin, and not to damage the pH of the skin too much. One of the nice things about Cetaphil cleanser is that it is designed with all of these features in mind. It's a synthetic detergent. It very gently can take away some of the impurities of the skin without overly stripping or drying it. One of the great things about the Cetaphil cleanser is that it is designed with sensitive skin in mind. It doesn't overly dry or strip away the natural oils while gently cleansing the skin. The Cetaphil Gentle Skin Cleanser does a great job of cleansing the skin without stripping the natural oils and without damaging the skin barrier, and I think it's suitable for almost anybody, even those with the most sensitive skin. There is an unpleasant combination of having sensitive yet oily skin, and I think this is tricky because for those patients, moisturization can be unpleasant sometimes, but I find that for some patients at least, if they don't use moisturizer, their skin sometimes overcompensates and actually becomes more oily. So paradoxically, using a lightweight moisturizer on the face for those patients actually can help with the oiliness, but I do think you have to find the right product because some can be unpleasant while others really feel quite good.